The research ship Harmony's Edge moved slowly through the dark space around the dead planet. Inside the ship, Dr. Kira Vex looked at her screens with excitement. The crystalline spines on her back glowed bright blue, showing she was happy. After 3 years of searching, they had finally found what they were looking for. "The readings are perfect," she said to her team. "This planet has ruins from the old race, the ones who disappeared long ago." Park Hyun wiped sweat from his face as he worked on the ship's systems. The human engineer had been with the crew for 2 years now. Next to him, Lee Sua checked the power levels. She was also human, and the only other person from Earth on the ship. "How old do you think these ruins are?" Sua asked. The insect-like Keth scientist, Dr. Zix, clicked his mandibles. "Very old. Maybe 10 million years. Maybe more." Captain Vorn, who looked like a large fish with arms and legs, swam in his water tank. "We will go down tomorrow, take samples, learn what we can." Yun nodded. He liked working with the alien crew. At first, they did not trust humans much. Humans were new to space. They had only joined the Galactic Council 50 years ago. But Hyun and Sua had proven themselves. They worked hard and solved problems in ways the aliens never thought of. The next morning, the team went down to the planet surface. The air was thin but breathable. Strange buildings made of black stone rose from the ground like twisted trees. Sua set up the scanning equipment while Hyun explored the closest building. "These symbols," Hyun said, pointing to marks carved in the stone. "I have seen some like them before, in the old files from Earth." Dr. Kira Vex's spines dimmed. "What do you mean?" "Some of these symbols match ones found in very old caves on Earth, places where early humans lived." The team worked all day. They found many interesting things. Tools made of unknown metal, computers that still had power after millions of years. But the most shocking discovery came when Sua connected her scanner to one of the ancient computers. "I'm getting something," she said. "The computer is talking to my scanner. It recognizes the scanner somehow." "That is impossible," said Dr. Zix. "These computers are older than any of our races." But it was true. The ancient computer began showing images, pictures of space, of different planets, and then something that made everyone freeze. The images showed humans, not modern humans, but close enough. The ancient race had not just met humans long ago. They had changed them, made them smarter, made them better. "This cannot be right," Captain Vorn said from his mobile water tank. But more images came. The ancient race, tall and thin with large eyes, working on primitive humans, changing their brains, giving them new abilities. The images showed the ancient race teaching humans to use tools, to think in new ways, to solve problems. "They made us," Hyun whispered. "Humans did not evolve. Naturally, the ancient race created us." The team stood in shocked silence. Then Dr. Flux, who was made of pure energy, began to glow brighter. "This changes everything. If humans are the children of the ancient race, if you carry their gifts, you could become more powerful than all of us," Dr. Kira Vex finished. The mood changed instantly. The aliens looked at Hyun and Sua differently now, not as friends and co-workers, but as threats. The ancient race had been the most powerful beings in the galaxy before they disappeared. If humans carried their legacy, what would that mean for everyone else? That night on the ship, the alien crew held a secret meeting. Hyun and Sua were working in the engine room and did not know about it. The aliens talked in whispers, their voices full of fear. "We cannot let this information reach the council." Dr. Zix clicked. "If other humans learn about this, they will want to find more ancient technology." "They will become too powerful," agreed Captain Vorn. "They will rule over all of us." "But what can we do?" asked Dr. Flux. "They are our crew members." Dr. Kira Vex's spines turned dark red. "There might be a way. Tomorrow we are supposed to do more exploring. If there was an accident." The others understood. They did not like the idea, but fear made them agree. Better to sacrifice 2 humans than risk the future of all their races. The next day, Hyun and Sua prepared for another trip to the planet's surface. They put on their spacesuits and checked their equipment. Captain Vorn gave them their mission. "Need you to check the far ruins," he said. "The ones 5 kilometers from our main site. Take the small shuttle, set up scanning equipment there." Sua felt something was wrong. "Why just us? Usually we work as a full team." "The other ruins need study too," Dr. Kiravek said quickly. "We will work at the main site while you check the far ones." Hyun and Sua took the shuttle down to the planet. They landed near the distant ruins and began setting up their equipment. The ruins here were different. Smaller, but more complex. The symbols on the walls seemed to pulse with faint light. "Hyun, look at this," Sua called. She had found a room deep inside the largest building. The walls were covered with more images. These showed the ancient race leaving, going to the stars. But some images showed them hiding things, leaving gifts for their human children to find someday. "We need to tell the others," Hyun said. But when they tried to call the ship, they got no answer. When they tried to start the shuttle, the engines would not work. Someone had damaged the power systems while they were inside the ruins. "We are stuck," Sua said, checking the shuttle systems. "The main power core is fried. Someone did this on purpose." They tried their emergency communicator. It worked, but barely. The signal was weak and would not reach very far. Above them, they could see the Harmony's edge moving away from the planet. "They are leaving us," Hyun realized. The ship jumped into hyperspace, leaving them alone on the dead world. Their former friends and co-workers had abandoned them to die. Sua sat down heavily. Why would they do this? Hyun looked at the ancient symbols on the walls around them. Because they are afraid. They are afraid of what we might become. The 2 humans were alone now with limited supplies and broken equipment. The planet's thin air would not last them long. The temperature dropped quickly when the sun went down. They had maybe a few days of food and water, but they were human. And humans did not give up easily. "We need shelter first," Sua said, standing up again. "Then we need to fix our equipment." "The ruins," Hyun said. "The ancient race built them, to last. If we can get deeper inside, we might find better shelter." They spent the rest of the day exploring the ruins. Deep underground, they found rooms that still had power. The ancient technology recognized them somehow, turning on lights and warming the air when they entered. "It knows we are human," Sua whispered. That night, as they huddled in the ancient shelter, they made plans. The aliens thought they had sentenced them to death. But Hyun and Sua were not ready to die. They would survive. They would find a way. And someday, somehow, they would make their betrayers pay for what they had done. Outside the ruins, the planet's cold wind howled. But inside, the ancient technology kept them warm. The race that had created humanity had left them gifts. Now their human children would learn to use them. The Harmony's edge was already far away, carrying news of the tragic accident that had killed the 2 human crew members. But the humans were not dead. They were just getting started. Dr. Kiravek sat in her quarters, her spines dim with guilt. She told herself they had done the right thing. They had protected the galaxy from a threat. But deep down, she knew they had made a terrible mistake. Humans were survivors. And now they had given them every reason to become something dangerous. The betrayal was complete. But the story was just beginning. 3 days had passed since the Harmony's edge left them to die. Hyun sat in the ancient underground room, working on their damaged equipment. His hands shook slightly from hunger, but he kept working. Beside him, Sua studied the strange symbols on the walls. "The emergency beacon is still too weak," Hyun said. "It can only reach maybe 1 light year. No ships come this far out." Sua touched one of the glowing symbols. It pulsed brighter under her hand. "But this technology responds to us. Maybe we can use it." Their water was almost gone. The protein bars they had brought would last maybe 2 more days. Most people would have given up hope by now. But humans were different. "Show me the water recycler again," Sua said. Hyun opened their survival kit. The water recycler was small and simple. It could clean dirty water and pull moisture from the air, but barely enough for 1 person. and the air on this planet was very dry. Not enough, Hyun said. Then we make it better. Sua had been a military engineer before joining the space program. She understood machines in ways that often surprised the alien crew members. Now she looked at the ancient technology around them with new eyes. Look at this, she said, pointing to patterns in the walls. These are not just decorations. They are circuits. Power flows through them. Hyun studied the patterns. You think we can connect our equipment to their power? Maybe. But more than that. I think this whole place is one big machine. We just need to figure out how to turn it on. They spent the next day exploring deeper into the ruins. The passages went down much farther than they had first thought. Some rooms were filled with crystals that hummed with energy. Others had pools of liquid that glowed with soft light. Careful, Hyun warned as Sua knelt by one of the pools. We do not know what that is. But Sua had already touched the liquid. It was warm and felt thick like oil. But when she pulled her hand out, her fingers were perfectly clean. The liquid did not stick to her skin. It is not dangerous, she said. I think it might be some kind of fuel. In another room, they found what looked like a garden. But instead of plants, there were structures that looked like coral. They grew in complex patterns and pulsed with the same rhythm as the symbols on the walls. Everything is connected, Hyun realized. The whole ruin is like a living system. That night, their water ran out completely. They had found no sources of water anywhere in the ruins. The planet's surface had some ice in the polar regions, but that was thousands of kilometers away. Sua lay on the floor, feeling weak. We need water soon, or we will not last another day. But Hyun was studying the coral-like structures. Wait. Look at this closely. He showed her how the structures had tiny droplets forming on their tips. When enough droplets collected, they fell into small channels carved in the floor. It is making water, Sua breathed. From the air somehow. They followed the channels, deeper into the system. The water collected in a large chamber below. It was clean and tasted perfect. Not only had they found water, they had found enough to last for weeks. The ancient race, Hyun said. They built this place to take care of people, to take care of humans. With water secured, they could focus on other problems. Food was still running low, and their equipment was still too damaged to call for help, effectively. But the ruins had more surprises. In the deepest chamber they found, there were tanks full of green liquid. Inside the liquid, things that looked like seaweed grew slowly. Algae, Sua said. Or something like it. If it is safe to eat, we could grow food here. Testing the algae was risky, but they were running out of options. Sua volunteered to try it first. She ate a small amount and waited. Hours passed with no bad effects. The algae tasted awful, but it was food. We can survive here, Hyun said. That night. Water, food, shelter. The ancient race left us everything we need. But surviving was not enough. They needed to get off this planet eventually. And more than that, they wanted answers. Why had their friends betrayed them? Were other humans in danger? Sua had been working on the ancient technology every day. Slowly, she began to understand how it worked. The symbols were not just decorations or even circuits. They were a kind of computer interface that responded to thought. Watch this, she told Hyun one evening. She placed her hand on a large symbol and concentrated. The symbol began to glow brighter. Then other symbols around the room lit up in sequence. The entire chamber began to hum with power. How did you do that? Hyun asked. I thought about wanting light, and the system gave it to me. They experimented with the interface for days. Sua seemed to understand it better than Hyun, but both of them could make it work. The system could control temperature, lighting, water production, and food growth. It was like having a smart computer that read their minds. No wonder they were afraid, Hyun said. If all humans can do this. But not everything worked perfectly. Some systems seemed broken or locked away, and they still could not fix their shuttle or improve their beacon enough to call for help. 2 weeks after being abandoned, they had settled into a routine. Mornings were for maintaining their life support systems and growing food. Afternoons were for exploring and trying to unlock more of the ancient technology. Evenings were for working on their equipment and planning. "I think I can boost the beacon," Sua said one night. "If I connect it to the ruins' power system, it might reach farther." "How much farther?" "Maybe 10 light years. 20 if we are lucky." It was better than nothing. They spent 3 days modifying the beacon and connecting it to the ancient power grid. When they finally turned it on, it sent out a signal much stronger than before. But would anyone hear it? And if they did, would they help? Or would they be more aliens who feared humanity? Week by week they grew stronger. The ancient technology seemed to respond to them more easily over time. They could control larger systems and understand more complex interfaces. It was like the ruins were teaching them, preparing them for something. "I have been thinking," Hyun said one evening as they ate their daily meal of processed algae. "What if this is what the ancient race wanted? What if they knew this would happen?" "You mean they knew we would be betrayed?" "Think about it. They left this place perfectly designed to keep humans alive. They made technology that only responds to us. What if they faced the same thing long ago?" Sua considered this. "You think other races betrayed them too?" "Maybe. And maybe they built all this as a test, to see if their human children could survive betrayal and become stronger." It was a dark thought, but it felt right. The ancient race had not just given humans intelligence, they had given them the tools to survive anything. 1 month after being abandoned, their modified beacon finally got an answer. It was not from a Galactic Council ship. It was not from any alien vessel at all. The signal was weak but clear. It was human. "This is Captain Kim Taemin of the UES Resilience. We received your distress call. We are coming to help." Sua and Hyun looked at each other with tears in their eyes. They were not going to die on this forgotten planet. But more than that, they had learned something important. Humans were not just survivors. They were inheritors of something ancient and powerful. And the galaxy was about to find out what that meant. 3 days later, a human ship appeared in orbit around the dead planet. But Hyun and Sua were no longer the same people who had been abandoned here. They had been changed by their time with the ancient technology, made stronger, made more than they had been before. The rescue was just the beginning of their story. Captain Kim Taemin stood on the bridge of the UES Resilience, looking at the readings his science officer had just shown him. 3 months ago, they had picked up strange energy signals from this dead system. Now they had found something much more interesting. "2 humans, sir," reported Lieutenant Commander Yu Min-ho, "alive on the planet's surface. Their beacon has been modified somehow. It is much stronger than standard equipment." Taemin frowned. "What is a human distress beacon doing out here? This system is not on any trade routes." "Unknown, sir. But we should investigate." The Resilience was a deep space exploration ship. Its mission was to find new worlds and study ancient ruins. Taemin had been captain for 5 years, and he had never seen readings like the ones coming from the planet below. "Take us into orbit," he ordered, "and prepare a rescue team." Down on the planet's surface, Hyun and Sua watched the human ship appear in the sky above them. They had been waiting 3 days since getting the captain's message. In that time, they had prepared everything they could. "They will want to know what happened to us," Sua said. "They will want to know about this place too," Hyun replied, looking around at the ancient ruins that had become their home. The ruins looked different now than when they had first arrived. More systems were active. More rooms were lit up. The technology responded to them so easily now that sometimes it felt like thinking was enough to control it. A shuttle landed near their camp. Captain Taemin came out first, followed by his rescue team. Dr. Choi Bo-ra, the ship's doctor, hurried forward with her medical kit. "Are you injured?" she asked. "How long have you been here?" 3 months, Hyun answered. "We are not injured, but we have a story to tell." As Dr. Choi examined them, Taemin looked around at their camp. He saw the modified equipment, the water recycling system they had built, and the entrance to the underground ruins. "How did you survive here for 3 months?" he asked. "The ruins. Sua said. They are not just old buildings. They are a complete life support system built by the ancient race. Commander Yu Minho took readings with his scanner. Captain, these energy signatures are incredible. This technology is more advanced than anything we have ever seen. Show us, Taemin said. Yun and Sua led the rescue team into the ruins. As they walked through the passages, lights came on automatically. The temperature adjusted to keep everyone comfortable. The ancient systems recognized that there were more humans present and adapted accordingly. Amazing, Dr. Choi breathed. How does it know we are here? It responds to humans, Sua explained. Only humans. We think the ancient race designed it that way. In the main chamber, Sua demonstrated how the thought interface worked. She placed her hand on the control symbols and concentrated. The entire room transformed. New lights appeared. Water began flowing from hidden fountains. Food-growing systems activated. Impossible, Minho whispered. You are controlling alien technology with your mind. Not alien, Hyun corrected. This technology was meant for humans. The ancient race built it for us. They explained everything. They had learned how the ancient race had modified early humans millions of years ago, how they had left this place and others like it as gifts for their human children, how the technology only responded to human thought patterns. Captain Taemin listened to everything with growing concern. And the alien crew that left you here, they knew about this? They discovered it the same time we did, Sua said. They were afraid of what humans might become with this knowledge. So they tried to kill you. Yes, Taemin was quiet for a long moment. Then he activated his communicator. Commander Park, prepare to record everything we find here, full documentation, and send a coded message to Fleet Command, Priority Alpha. Over the next week, the Resilience crew studied the ruins extensively. What they found shocked even the experienced explorers. The technology was not just advanced. It was beyond anything the current galaxy races had achieved. But more shocking was what they discovered about Hyun and Sua themselves. Your brain patterns have changed, Dr. Choi told them after running extensive tests. Exposure to the ancient technology has activated dormant parts of your nervous system. You are processing information faster, making connections that normal humans cannot make. Are we still human? Sua asked. You are more human than ever, the doctor replied. This is what humans were meant to become, what the ancient race intended. Captain Taemin called a meeting in the ship's conference room. His senior officers gathered around the table as he presented his findings to Earth Command via quantum communication. Admiral Kang So-young appeared on the main screen from Earth. She was the head of the Earth Defense Fleet, and her expression was grim. Captain, your report is difficult to believe, she said. I know, Admiral, but the evidence is clear. Humans are not natural. We were created by an ancient race that left us gifts throughout the galaxy. And other races are so afraid of this that they are willing to commit murder to stop us. The political implications are staggering, the Admiral said. If word of this spreads, it will spread, Taemin said firmly. We cannot hide this, and we should not have to. Those alien crew members tried to murder human citizens. They must answer for their crimes. Agreed. But we need to be careful how we proceed. Where are the survivors now? Still on the planet learning to use the ancient systems. Admiral, you need to see what they can do. The technology responds to them like it was built yesterday. They can control power systems, environmental, controls, manufacturing, everything. Admiral So-young was quiet for a moment. How many other sites like this might exist? Unknown. But if the ancient race prepared for humans to inherit their technology, there could be hundreds, thousands. Captain, I am sending the research ship, Discovery, to your location. Full science team. We need to understand everything about this technology before other races learn about it. What about the aliens who abandoned our people? They are currently telling everyone that Hyun and Sua died in a shuttle accident. We will let them keep believing that for now, but they will face justice eventually. The call ended, and Taemin returned to the planet's surface. He found Hyun and Sua working in a chamber they had never seen before. They had unlocked new sections of the ruins and were learning to operate even more complex systems. "How much more is there?" he asked. "We do not know," Hyun replied. "Every day we discover new rooms, new capabilities. It is like the place is infinite." "The ancient race was very thorough," Sua added. "They left instructions for everything: how to build starships, how to create new technologies, how to defend ourselves." "Defend ourselves from what?" Sua showed him images that appeared on the walls when she touched certain symbols, pictures of space battles, ships fighting against swarms of dark creatures. "From things that come from outside the galaxy," she said. "The ancient race fought a war against invaders from dark space. They won, but it cost them everything. That is why they disappeared. And they prepared us to fight the same war? If it comes again, yes." Taemin felt a chill. The galaxy was a dangerous place, but threats from outside it were beyond anything they had imagined. Over the following days, more human ships arrived. Scientists, engineers, and military officers all came to study the ruins. But the ancient technology would only work for Hyun and Sua. They had become living keys to humanity's inheritance. "We need to find others like us," Sua told the assembled officers. "Humans who can interface with the ancient systems. If there are other sites like this, we will need people who can activate them." "How do we find them?" asked Dr. Kim Ji-woo, the head scientist from the Discovery. "The same way the ancient race found our ancestors," Hyun replied. "We test people. Look for the right genetic markers. The ability is rare but not unique to us." As the human fleet prepared to leave the planet, Taemin made a decision that would change everything. "We are not reporting this to the Galactic Council," he announced. "Humanity will handle this internally until we better understand what we are dealing with." "Sir, that could be seen as a violation of council law," his first officer warned. "Council law did not protect our citizens when they were abandoned to die," Taemin replied coldly. "We will protect ourselves." The message was sent throughout human space. Find the descendants of the ancient race's experiments. Find the ruins they left behind. Learn to use the technology they gifted to humanity, and prepare for the day when the galaxy would learn that humans were not just another member race. They were something much more dangerous and much more important. The silence around the dead planet had been broken. Now the real work would begin. Admiral Kang So-young stood before the emergency session of the Earth Defense Council. Representatives from every human colony and fleet command filled the chamber. The news from the ruins had spread through human space like wildfire, and now they had to decide how to respond. "The evidence is clear," Admiral So-young announced. "Two of our citizens were deliberately abandoned to die because alien crew members feared what humans might become. This was not an accident. It was attempted murder motivated by xenophobia." Murmurs of anger filled the chamber. General Park Sun-mi, commander of the Outer Rim Fleet, stood up first. "What has been the Council's response to our formal complaint?" she asked. "They claim it was a tragic accident," Admiral So-young replied. "They refuse to investigate further. The alien crew members have been transferred to different assignments but face no punishment." More angry voices erupted. Representative Lee Dong-hyun from the Mars colonies called for order. "We cannot let this stand," he said. "If they can abandon two humans to die without consequence, what prevents them from doing it to entire colonies?" Dr. Nam Ji-woo, head of the Human Research Division, activated the chamber's holographic display. Images of the ancient ruins appeared above the assembly. "The situation is more complex than simple xenophobia," she announced. "Our analysis of the ruins has revealed that similar sites exist throughout the galaxy. We have identified at least 47 potential locations. If humans can activate the technology at all these sites, we would become the dominant force in the galaxy," finished Fleet Admiral Yoon Hae-ri, "and they know it." The discussion that followed was intense, but brief. The humans had learned something important about their galactic neighbors. When faced with the possibility of human advancement, those neighbors chose betrayal and murder over cooperation. "I propose Operation Silent Departure," announced Admiral So Young. Complete withdrawal of all human presence from Galactic Council space. The proposal was radical. Humans had spent 50 years building relationships with alien races. They had trade agreements, research partnerships, and diplomatic ties throughout the galaxy. You are talking about abandoning everything we have built, protested Ambassador Choi Min-soo. Everything we built was built on a lie, replied General Park Sun-mi. They pretended to accept us as equals while planning to eliminate us the moment we became inconvenient. Dr. Nam Ji-woo presented her research findings. We have identified over 1,200 humans with the genetic markers necessary to interface with ancient technology. They are scattered across human colonies and ships throughout Council space. If we begin activating ancient sites while still under Council oversight, they will find ways to stop us, Admiral Yoon Hae-ri completed. Or try to kill us all. The vote was close but decisive. Operation Silent Departure was approved by a margin of 3 votes. Over the following weeks, the operation began with careful precision. Human colonies received coded messages to prepare for evacuation. Trade ships were recalled to human space. Diplomatic missions were quietly closed. Captain Kim Tae-min coordinated the evacuation of human researchers from joint projects. He met with Dr. Kira Vex one last time aboard the Council research station orbiting Zentron Prime. I do not understand why you are leaving, the crystalline scientist said, her spines dim with confusion. The unfortunate incident with your crew members was tragic, but it should not end our partnership. Unfortunate incident? Tae-min asked quietly. The shuttle accident that killed them. It was very sad. Tae-min looked at her for a long moment. Dr. Kira Vex had been present when Hyun and Sua were abandoned. She knew the truth, but she was maintaining the lie even now. Yes, he said finally. It was very sad. Goodbye, Doctor. As human ships departed, Council space, the alien governments began to notice. Emergency meetings were called. Messages were sent to Earth demanding explanations. The humans are acting strangely, reported the Keth ambassador to the Council emergency session. They will not answer our communications. All their trade ships have disappeared, added the Morvani representative. Our shipping agreements are worthless now. The Council sent official delegations to Earth, but they found the Sol system heavily defended and unwelcoming. Human patrol ships intercepted them at the edge of the system with a simple message. Human, space is closed to alien vessels until further notice. Meanwhile, deep in the void between galaxy arms, humans began their real work. Research Director Dr. Nam Ji-woo established a secret facility in the dark space beyond the galaxy's edge. Here, teams of humans with the right genetic markers studied ancient technology from 7 different sites they had discovered and evacuated. The learning curve is incredible, she reported to Admiral So Young during a secure communication. Sua and Hyun were right. The technology teaches us how to use it. Each person who learns can help others learn faster. What kinds of capabilities are we talking about? The Admiral asked. Faster than light travel without the limitations of current hyperspace technology. Energy generation that makes our fusion reactors look like candles. Manufacturing systems that can build anything we can imagine. And weapons. Weapons? Weapons designed to fight things that our current enemies cannot even comprehend. The ancient race was preparing for something terrible, Admiral. Something from outside our galaxy. The human evacuation from Council space took 6 months to complete. By the time it was finished, over 2 billion humans had been relocated to hidden colonies in dark space. They took with them everything they needed to build a new civilization, but they also left behind surprises. Sir, reported Commander Yu Min-ho to Admiral So Young, we have confirmation that 16 ancient sites in Council space have been activated and then sealed. Our people got to them before leaving. Sealed how? The sites now respond only to humans. If anyone else tries to use them, the technology shuts down completely. The aliens can study the ruins, but they cannot access the active systems. Admiral, So Young smiled grimly. Excellent. How long before we can begin the next phase? Fleet Admiral Park Sun-mi reports that the first new ships will be ready for testing in 3 months. If the ancient technology works as expected, They will be unlike anything the galaxy has ever seen. The first test flights exceeded all expectations. Ships powered by ancient energy systems could travel faster than light in ways that bypassed normal hyperspace completely. They could appear anywhere in the galaxy instantly, without the delays and limitations that restricted all other starships. More importantly, the ships could defend themselves in ways that made current weapons useless. Energy shields that existed in parallel dimensions. Weapons that could strike through hyperspace. Defenses that made the ships almost impossible to detect or target. "We are no longer just human," Dr. Namji-woo reported after her first flight in one of the new ships. "We are what humans were meant to become." But the most important discovery came from studying the deepest records in the ancient ruins, the Devourers, Hyun reported during a briefing to the human leadership. That is what the ancient race called them. They come from the void between galaxies. They consume entire civilizations, leaving nothing behind. "When?" asked Admiral So Young. "The pattern suggests they return every 50 million years. The last time they came, the ancient race fought them to a standstill. Both sides were nearly destroyed. The ancient race won, but they knew the Devourers would return eventually." Sua activated a holographic display showing galaxy-wide scanner readings. "The patterns are starting again. Deep space sensors are detecting movement in the void. Something huge is coming toward our galaxy." "How long do we have?" Admiral Yoon Haeri asked. "Based on the ancient records and current sensor data, perhaps 5 years, maybe less." The chamber fell silent. The humans had gained incredible power, but with it came incredible responsibility. The ancient race had chosen them to be the galaxy's defenders in the next war. "The council races do not know this is coming," General Park Sun-mi pointed out. "No," Admiral So Young replied. "But they will learn soon enough." Fleet Admiral Yoon Haeri stood up. "We need to accelerate ship production. If we are going to defend this galaxy, we will need a fleet unlike anything that has ever existed." "What about the races that betrayed us?" asked Dr. Namji-woo. Admiral So Young was quiet for a moment. "When the Devourers arrive, they will not care about politics or prejudice. They will try to consume everything in this galaxy. We will defend all sentient life, even those who tried to kill us. But afterward," General Park Sun-mi pressed, "afterward, there will be a reckoning. The galaxy will have a new order, and humans will determine what that order looks like." As the meeting ended, the human leaders began planning for 2 wars. The first would be against an enemy from outside the galaxy that threatened all life. The second would be a war of justice against those who had betrayed humanity in its hour of need. In the depths of space, human shipyards worked around the clock. Ancient technology guided the construction of vessels that seemed to bend reality around them. Soon, the galaxy would see what humanity had become during its time in exile. But first they would have to survive what was coming from the dark. The first attacks came without warning. Zentron Prime, the crystal world that served as the Galactic Council's science center, simply vanished from all sensors one day. Emergency fleets sent to investigate found nothing but empty space where a thriving world of 10 billion souls had existed just hours before. Dr. Kira Vex was at the orbital research station when it happened. She watched through the viewing ports as her home world disappeared into a cloud of dark energy that consumed everything it touched. "Impossible," she whispered, her crystalline spines flickering with terror. "How can an entire planet just cease?" The answer came 3 days later when the cloud moved on. In place of Zentron Prime, there was nothing. Not ruins, not debris, not even empty space. The planet and everything on it had been completely consumed, leaving a hole in reality itself. Similar attacks followed across the galaxy, the industrial world of Keth 7, the beautiful ocean planet of Morvana, the energy being's dimensional home near the galactic core. One by one, whole worlds were being devoured by entities that seemed to exist outside normal space. The Galactic Council called emergency sessions, but their fleets were powerless against the attackers. Conventional weapons passed harmlessly through the Devourers. Energy shields provided no protection. Entire battle fleets were consumed as easily as individual planets. We need help, Council Speaker Vorn announced during the latest emergency broadcast. The old Morvani leader looked exhausted and desperate. All member races must contribute everything they have to fight this threat. But there was one problem with that plan. The most advanced member race was no longer answering their calls. The humans have been silent for 5 years, reported Intelligence Chief Zix, clicking his mandibles nervously. Our scouts cannot find their colonies. Their ships have vanished. It is as if they left the galaxy entirely. Deep in the void between galaxy spirals, Admiral Kang So-Young watched the Council's broadcasts with grim satisfaction. The human fleet was fully assembled now. 5,000 ships built with ancient technology floated in perfect formation around the hidden base that had become humanity's new capital. How many worlds have been lost? She asked her intelligence chief. 47. Confirmed, Commander Yumin Ho reported. The Devourers are following the same pattern the ancient records described. They start at the galaxy's edge and work inward, consuming everything in their path. And the Council fleets? Completely ineffective. They cannot even slow the enemy. Down. Supreme Admiral Yoon Hairi, who now commanded the entire human battle fleet, studied the tactical displays. The Devourers will reach the core systems in 6 months. After that, they will start on the inner rim colonies, including the remaining human settlements, added General Park Sun-mi. Admiral So-Young nodded slowly. It is time to return to the galaxy, but not as the humans who left 5 years ago. The first sign that humanity had returned came as a message broadcast across all Council emergency frequencies. But it was not from Admiral So-Young or any human government. Instead, Dr. Kira Vex received a personal communication from someone she thought was dead. "Hello, Kira," said Lee Sua, appearing on the scientist's private screen. "We need to talk." Dr. Kira Vex stared in shock at the human woman. Sua looked different now. Her eyes seemed to hold depths that had not been there before. And she was, standing in what appeared to be a command center more advanced than anything the Council had ever built. "You are alive," Kira whispered. "But how? We saw your shuttle crash. You saw what you wanted to see," Sua replied calmly. "The question now is whether you want to see your people survive what is coming. The Devourers. We are fighting them. But our weapons... Your weapons are useless because you do not understand. What you are fighting, these are not normal creatures. They exist partially outside our reality. Only certain types of technology can affect them." "What technology?" "The kind that your people tried to keep humans from accessing." The implication was clear. Dr. Kira Vex's spines dimmed to almost black. "The ancient ruins. You found a way to use them." "We found what we were meant to find. The ancient race left us tools to fight this war. Tools that only humans can use effectively. Will you help us?" Sua was quiet for a moment. "That depends on whether the Council is ready to face the truth about what they did 5 years ago." The Council's response came 12 hours later. A formal message broadcast to all human colonies that could be located. The Galactic Council formally apologizes for the incident involving human citizens 5 years ago. We request immediate assistance in fighting the Devourer threat. All terms for cooperation are negotiable. The human response was delivered personally by Fleet Commander Lee Dong-hyun, captain of the UES Phoenix Rising, humanity's new flagship. His ship appeared without warning in the center of the Council's main fleet assembly point, near the galactic core. The sight of the human vessel sent shockwaves through every alien ship present. It was massive, larger than any dreadnought in the Council fleets. But more than its size, it was the ship's very existence that was impossible. Energy readings showed power levels that exceeded anything in known science, and the ship seemed to phase in and out of normal space as if it existed in multiple dimensions at once. "This is Fleet Commander Lee Dong-hyun of the Human Defense Force," came the transmission. "I am authorized to speak for humanity in this matter." Council Speaker Vorn's response was immediate. "Commander, we are grateful for your offer of assistance. We are prepared to negotiate." "There will be no negotiation," Dong-hyun interrupted. You will listen to our terms and you will accept them completely, or this galaxy will fall to the devourers. The terms were simple but absolute. The aliens responsible for abandoning Hunansua 5 years ago would stand trial for attempted murder. The Galactic Council would be dissolved and reformed with new laws protecting all member races from discrimination, and humanity would assume primary responsibility for galactic defense against external threats. These terms are unacceptable, protested the Keth representative. Humans cannot simply impose their will on the entire galaxy. Watch us, Donghyun replied. What happened next demonstrated exactly how much humanity had changed during their years of exile. The space around the Council fleet began to shift and warp. Reality itself seemed to bend as dozens of human ships materialized from folded space. Each vessel was a masterpiece of ancient technology, bristling with weapons that operated on principles the aliens could not understand. But it was not the weapons that truly shocked the alien observers. It was the ships themselves. They moved through space in ways that violated every known law of physics. They appeared and disappeared at will. They seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Impossible, whispered the Zenthari science officer aboard the Council flagship. No race has technology like this. The ancient race did, came Park Hyun's voice over the communication channel. And they passed it to us. Hyun appeared on the view screen next to Commander Dong-hyun. Like Sua, he looked different now, enhanced. The years of working with ancient technology had changed him in ways that went beyond the merely physical. We spent 5 years learning what our inheritance truly means, he continued. The ancient race did not just modify early humans, they prepared us to be the galaxy's protectors. They knew this day would come. As if summoned by his words, long range, sensors detected movement at the galaxy's edge. The Devourer fleet was massing for a major assault on the core systems. Thousands of dark shapes moved through space, consuming everything in their path. You have 12 hours to accept our terms, Commander Dong-hyun announced. After that, we begin our own operations against the Devourers. Whether we protect your worlds depends on your answer. The Council's debate was brief and desperate. With Daikori, entire civilizations being consumed daily, they had no choice but to accept humanity's demands. The trial of the aliens who had abandoned Hyun and Sua was swift but fair. Dr. Kira Vex and the other conspirators were found guilty of attempted murder and sentenced to life imprisonment on a prison colony, but they were allowed to volunteer for dangerous duty in the upcoming battle against the Devourers. I will do anything to make amends, Kira said when she chose to fight. I was wrong about humans, about everything. The final battle began when the Devourer main fleet reached the inhabited systems of the inner galaxy, but instead of finding helpless prey, they encountered something they had not faced in 50 million years. An enemy that could fight them effectively. Supreme Admiral Yoon Hae-ri led the human fleet in a dance of destruction through dimensions that normal ships could not enter. Human weapons struck the Devourers through hyperspace, bypassing their reality-warping defenses. Human shields existed in parallel dimensions, making their ships nearly invulnerable to counterattack. But the most shocking moment came when the humans revealed their ultimate weapon. Instead of simply destroying the Devourers, they began to transform them. The ancient race's greatest gift was not weapons or defenses, explained Dr. Nam Ji-woo as her science ship worked to convert captured Devourer entities. It was the understanding that every form of life has value, even hostile life. The transformation process was incredibly complex, requiring the combined efforts of dozens of human ships working with ancient technology. But gradually, the consuming hunger that